talkSPORT.
Yes, now Aldershot 2, Salisbury 2. And you mentioned that because the equaliser for Salisbury is scored by Charlie Sheringham, of course, son of the great man Teddy. And there's been yet another goal at the goal Sands. Ian Abrahams.
It's Bournemouth 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2 now. Ball played in from the right-hand side. It was a header. And I think it was Chris Maguire who scored. I'll just double-check that for you in a second or two. It was played in towards the near post, headed beyond Lee Camp. So Bournemouth are only level for 60 seconds. Eddie Howe won't be so happy after all. Bournemouth 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2.
Thanks very much, Ian. And we're joined by our very patient guest.
Yeah,
who's been waiting.
bless him.
I think he's been here for about 2 hours. It's Ed Aczel.
It's
Ed,
like I saw him clean the kitchen at once.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I should say about 5 years ago, I always go to the Edinburgh Festival, and I wandered in. I think it was during the day. I think it was a small little venue, and I wandered in to see you. And I thought it was absolutely amazing. It was like unlike anything I'd ever seen before. It has been subsequently described as anti-comedy. I would have said it was just sort of absurdism, but it was pretty funny. And I've always wanted to meet you. I've been to see you about 2 or 3 times since then. And then I saw this week you're actually starting a bit of an acting career. You're in a football-based drama. So what better excuse to get you on talkSPORT? So welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
Lovely to meet him, yeah.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit, first about this project that you've done, which I gather is your first acting role.
Yes. It's a mockumentary, similar in sort of form to The Office, but it's based in a kind of lower league football club where I play the manager.
Right.
And if you'd asked me, Edward, with all due respect to you, what part you were playing, I'd have said you look like a lower league manager, and that's a compliment. Trust me.
Thank you.
Because I look like a conference manager, so you know.
It's called Grass Roots, isn't it? It's on London Live, which is available on Freeview, Channel 8. Is it tonight or when's
It's Sunday night.
Sunday night. So
9 p.m.
Who's it written by?
A pair of very talented young writers, Matt Connolly and Luke Flanagan.
And so how did you get the part? Because, I mean, as I say, you've never really acted before, so what made them think of you?
Well, oddly, Matt came to one of my Edinburgh shows and thought I'd be suitable for that kind of role.
Now, we should say, very unusually, for somebody who's been doing comedy and has done 5 or 6, you'll correct me, Edinburgh Festival shows, you're not a full-time comedian. You have a proper job, don't you?
Yeah, I do have a proper job. It's odd because, to a certain extent, I've always led this double life. I love comedy, but I also like kind of Civvy Street as well. I like sort of turning up at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning and going home at 5 o'clock on a Friday night.
I think you ought to explain what you do, having gone down that road. Because people will be going, I'd be giving up my job tomorrow to become a comedian, a stroke actor.
Well, I don't know. No, it's certainly not glamorous. But I do cycle to work schemes for large companies. So
is that what you've always done?
Well, it's kind of changed within the company. So I've done different things, but I've been with the same company, which is oddly called, by pure coincidence, Grass Roots. The company's called, but.
That's how you got the job.
Yeah, maybe. But ultimately, I've been there 20 years. Always loved it, and I think by now I'm probably institutionalised. So,
I mean, some of your reviews maybe will give the listeners an idea of what you actually do. It says the Times said about you, Aczel turns unprofessionalism into an art form.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, guys.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's quite.
That's a compliment.
It's a compliment. It is.
Yeah. So I do anti-comedy. It's kind of sort of so bad it's good. That's the.
You've come to the right radio show.
Yeah. I think it's kind of in effect. I suppose what. So Tommy Cooper was a famous anti-comedian, or the most famous anti-comedian. And I suppose if you compare his magic tricks to...
I get it now, okay. I can get a feel for it now, yeah.
Say, for example, if you were watching Paul Daniels in his heyday, for example, on television, you'd have confidence that he was going to do a very, very glamorous, high-powered trick, and you didn't know how it was going to pan out, but ultimately you had confidence to go with him. With Tommy Cooper, for a start, he's going to attempt to do a trick that no one cares about. Secondly, he's going to do it badly. And thirdly, it'll all go wrong. And that's anti-comedy.
Before we go on, I'm desperate to hear about how you made this jump into acting as well. I just should say that Crewe have taken the lead at Shrewsbury, where Matthias Pogba, of course brother of Paul Pogba, has got the goal. And a big equaliser for Lake Norrin, who definitely need the points. Now Crawley won, Lake Norrin won. Chris Dagnall with his umpteenth goal of the season for the O's. Are you a football fan?
Yeah, it's a good question.
I am in theory, yes.
That's almost an answer. Well done.
Yes, yeah. Well, I sort of feel guilty about it. I'm a Liverpool supporter, but I tend not to support them when they lose. So I've
had
not,
a good season.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a
Got a
big
tattoo
supporter.
this year.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter this year, but for the last few years, I've probably not watched the match.
Now you've explained anti-comedy. In a second, I'm going to ask you to explain how you not support a football team. But I do need to say there's been another goal at the DW. Don McGuinness is watching Wigan against Reading.
And it's now Wigan 2, Reading 0. And again, just like the first goal, it was coming all the time. Wigan have been pressing. And Martin Waghorn, you probably heard his name announced there, the very loud PA. He's got the goal. He was cup-tied, so missed the Arsenal game at Wembley. But he's just put this one in after good work from McManaman, the ball breaking to Waghorn. And he finished in the roof of the net. So added to that earlier strike from Gomez, Wigan well in command and looking like solidifying that place in the playoffs. Wigan 2, Reading 0.
Well, that combination of results we're seeing at the top of the championship and making Reading's task look increasingly difficult. So we all know how it is to be a football supporter. You buy the scarf, you get the tattoo, you do the singing till you're hoarse. When they win the occasional trophy, you're there and you're adoring the open top bus. How do you unsupport Liverpool?
Well, you sort of take a vague interest in them every now and again. That's kind of the level. I'm also sort of quite keen on Liverpool's history. I love the sort of Bill Shankly years and Bob Paisley.
That is coming dangerously close to actually supporting them again, though.
Well, no. It's sort of thinking about the romance of the thing, but then never going to see them, or and unless they win, probably not watching anything they do ever.
And now, when you got the part of acting as a lower league manager, did you have a role model whom you based your performance on?
I like to think it's sort of more your 70s manager. Funnily enough, I kind of been watching the Football League show and those kind of things on TV, and you see the managers afterwards, and they're closer to how I imagine Harry Pickles would be. He sort of comes out.
Called Harry Pickles, isn't
yeah.
That's a kind of football in joke as well, isn't it?
And he's the kind of manager that would say, I think the lads put a good shift in today, and it's more.
That's all of them.
Yeah, no, but
I
it's
don't think
more.
I've ever heard Jose Mourinho say, I think the lads have put a good shift in today.
The lads, good shift today. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
It's those kind of principles, and I also look back to the managers of the 70s, with a sheepskin jacket on and a sort of cigar in their mouth, those kind of managers, I think. And I think they still exist in one form or another.
Waiting for a crate of legs of mutton to come from the chairman, as a reward for the guys, the lads. Yeah.
So, do you ever see a time when you will do this full time? I mean, anybody that's done 5 or 6 Edinburghs, you've had sellout runs.
You're determined to get him out of work, aren't you?
Because the first time I ever saw you, and you did say, I've taken 4 weeks off to do this show, and I believed you, and it turned out to be that. But I thought, well, this guy's really funny. This is working. He's surely going to become, a top comedy star.
Famous. Yes. Well, it's odd. I'd love to be a full-time comedian. I think the difficult thing is that you need various different strands to your career. So one of these things is acting, obviously, those kind of things, and you kind of need a route to market somehow, and you need people to recognise you in order to tour. So it's a sort of chicken and egg type situation, really.
Are you planning on doing Edinburgh again this summer?
Not this summer, but 2015 I'm planning. I'm doing at the moment. I'm doing every other year for financial reasons.
Yeah, it's hard to make money, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Well, listen, Ed, it's been an absolute treat to me.
lovely.
Remind us again of what the programme's called and when people can see it.
It's called Grass Roots, and it's Sunday 9 p.m. on London Live.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you. Thank you for coming in and seeing this. And don't take the notes. You can keep your day job if you want to.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
I'm looking for a day job. Some will say I'll soon be getting one.
No, you've already touted for one on Pointless. Let me just tell you that Wolves now have recovered from that bad start against Rotherham to lead by 2-1. Coventry have equalised against Swindon with a goal from John Fleck. Oldham have taken the lead against Colchester. Connor Brown with the goal. And Southend are now 2-0 up at Rochdale. Jacob Murphy with that goal. We'll be coming back to you very, very soon with half-time reports for our featured matches. You're listening to Hawksby and Jacobs here on the mighty talkSPORT.